Hello, my sleepy heads. It's good to have you back on History for Sleep. In the following minutes, you will experience a deep state of relaxation. This story helps you to easily sleep through the night, so you can get up energized in the morning. Not only will you fall asleep faster, you will also get rid of disturbing thoughts. Listen to these history stories for at least 10 days for the best results. The longer you listen to the video, the more likely you'll experience persistent and positive changes in the way you sleep. I wish you a great rest, and if you haven't already, we'd be very happy if you consider subscribing to the channel so you won't miss any new calming and relaxing history story. Tonight, we're going to drift gently into the world of ancient Greece, a land of humble peasants, distant gods, and quiet lives beneath the olive trees. But before you get comfortable and let your mind drift into this ancient world, I'd love it if you could take a gentle moment to like this video and subscribe. Only if these calm stories of the past bring you peace. Your support truly helps me grow and keep making these calm journey through time just for you. And in the comments, let me know where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always so wonderful to see our little community listening together from all corners of the world, quietly sharing these stories across space and time. So, settle in, dim the light, maybe turn on the fan, take a slow breath, and let us step softly into the land of the history of ancient Greece. Now let's begin. Take a deep breath and let the world around you begin to fade. Tonight, we're not rushing anywhere. There's no noise, no urgency, only stillness. You're safe, lying in the quiet, and the story ahead will move at the slow rhythm of your own breathing. Imagine your thoughts growing lighter, drifting like leaves on a calm river. In this stillness, we begin our gentle journey, not into dreams just yet, but into time itself. Tonight, we're going to drift softly into the world of ancient Greece, a land of sunlit hills, silver olive groves, and small villages resting under a sky filled with warm stars. It's a place where life was slow, simple, and endlessly connected to the land. So close your eyes and let that world begin to form around you. One sound, one breath, one heartbeat at a time. As the present fades away, picture yourself standing at the edge of the Aegean Sea. The air smells faintly of salt and olive wood smoke. The waves are quiet, lapping gently against worn stones that have felt centuries of footsteps. Behind you, the land rises in soft hills dotted with whitewashed cottages and terracotta roofs. It's early morning in ancient Greece, though the sun hasn't yet climbed above the horizon. You can hear a rooster crowing somewhere in the distance and the faint creak of a wooden cart rolling over the earth. The world is half awake, resting in that tender space between night and day, where everything feels still and alive at once. This is where we begin, among farmers and shepherds, artisans and storytellers, in a time before clocks, before cities grew tall, when people measured their days by the turning of the sky. The Greece you are entering isn't filled with marble statues or grand temples. Not yet. It's a humbler place. A landscape of small, stone-built homes surrounded by fields of grain and groves of olive trees. The scent of wild thyme drifts through the morning air, and you can hear the soft rustle of goats moving among the grass. For the peasants who live here, life is simple, though not easy. Their world revolves around the seasons, planting in spring, harvesting in summer, wading through the rains of winter. They live close to the earth, and closer still to the gods they believe dwell within every breeze, every flame, every whisper of water. To them, the divine isn't distant. It lives in the hills, in the rivers, in the very soil beneath their feet. Tonight, we'll wander among them, quietly, gently, as if unseen, simply observing how they live, breathe, and dream beneath the soft light of an ancient sky. The first sounds of morning begin to rise, a soft clatter of wooden doors opening, a low murmur of voices, the faint bleating of sheep. A thin trail of smoke curls from a chimney as someone lights a small hearth fire to prepare the morning meal. Inside one of these homes, a peasant family begins their day. The house is made of mud, brick, and stone, cool to the touch even in the warmth of summer. There's no furniture as we know it, just woven mats, a low table, and earthenware jars filled with grain, oil, and water. The mother stirs a pot over the flame, while the father steps outside to check the animals. The children, still half asleep, sit quietly by the doorway, rubbing their eyes as the scent of barley porridge fills the room. Outside, the sky turns from pale blue to gold. The sun rises over the Aegean, spilling its light across the hills, and another day in ancient Greece begins, slow, steady, timeless. As you breathe in, feel the weight of that world settle softly around you. No rush, no noise, no glowing screens or ticking clocks. Only the rhythm of life as it once was, guided by the warmth of the sun and the pull of the moon. The peasants of ancient Greece lived by patterns as old as the earth itself. When to sow, when to reap, when to rest, when to gather. Each action held purpose, each season its own wisdom. Their stories weren't written down in books, but spoken in whispers, told by firelight beneath the stars. You can almost hear them now, gentle voices weaving tales of gods and heroes, of storms and harvests, of life and death turning endlessly in a circle. The sound of those old voices fades into the rustle of wind through olive leaves, a soft, rhythmic sound that seems to match the pace of your heartbeat. So, as the night deepens around you, allow yourself to sink further into this world, not as an outsider, but as a quiet traveler in time. You're standing on ancient soil, the same ground that carried poets, farmers, and dreamers thousands of years ago. You feel the warmth of the sun that once shone upon their faces, and the calm of evenings when they watch the stars rise just as you do now. Soon, we'll walk with them through their homes, their fields, their markets, and discover what life truly meant for the forgotten peasants of ancient Greece. But for now, let the story rest here at the edge of dawn. Let your thoughts slow like the turning of an ancient wheel. The world grows still, the air warm and silent. Ancient Greece is waiting for you, timeless, gentle, and already fading softly into the rhythm of your dreams. The first faint light of dawn creeps over the horizon, brushing the tops of the olive trees with silver. The air is cool and still, filled with the faint scent of earth and dew. Inside a small stone cottage on a hillside, the world is just beginning to stir. You can hear the soft breathing of sleepers, the faint crackle of a dying ember in the hearth. A rooster crows somewhere in the distance, sharp at first, then fading into the chorus of waking life. Slowly, a peasant family begins to move beneath their woven blankets. The father rises first, his back stiff from a night on straw mats, his hands rough from days spent in the fields. He doesn't speak. Words come later when the sun is higher. For now, it's just the quiet ritual of morning, stretching, breathing, listening to the land as it comes alive again. The room is dim, lit only by the soft glow of dawn filtering through a narrow window. A clay oil lamp flickers on a wooden shelf, its light trembling as though it too has just awakened. The mother stirs, tucking loose strands of hair behind her ear, her movements slow and practiced. She moves toward the small hearth, kneeling to stir the ashes and coax the flame to life once more. The smell of smoke curls gently through the room. Soon, she adds a handful of barley to a pot of water, their morning meal in the making. Outside, the first sounds of life ripple through the village. A donkey braying, a door creaking open, the shuffle of sandals over dry earth. It's an ordinary morning, but in this simplicity, there is something eternal. The steady heartbeat of life repeating itself, unchanged for generations. As the family begins their quiet routine, you can almost feel the rhythm of their world. The children wake slowly, rubbing their eyes, whispering softly to one another. They have no toys, no distractions beyond the world outside, and so their curiosity is endless. The youngest stares at the flame, mesmerized by how it dances, while the older one helps his mother stir the pot, careful not to spill a single grain. When the meal is ready, the family gathers on the floor around a small wooden bowl. There are no spoons. They eat with their fingers, dipping bits of coarse bread into the porridge. The taste is plain but comforting, the flavor of survival, the essence of another day begun. Outside, the first golden rays of the sun spill over the horizon, touching the fields that await their care. After breakfast, the father steps outside, blinking against the growing light. He breathes deeply. The air smells of grain and salt, of earth warming under the sun. His tools are waiting where he left them: a wooden plow, a hoe, a basket woven from reeds. He lifts one in his hands and feels its weight. Familiar, dependable, worn smooth by use. His wife follows him to the door, handing him a cloth to wipe his brow later in the day. They exchange few words. None are needed. In this life, routine is a kind of prayer. Every motion, every harvest, every meal, every dawn carries quiet meaning. The gods, they believe, watch not only from the high temples, but from the fields themselves. So as he steps forward into the brightness of morning, the peasant bows his head slightly, whispering a simple hope for good weather, strong hands, and gentle winds. The path to the fields is narrow and dusty. Each step kicks up a soft cloud that glows in the sunlight. Around him, the hills are alive with faint sounds, the buzzing of insects, the call of distant birds, the occasional bleat of a goat wandering free. The olive trees stand still, their silvery leaves shimmering faintly in the light. In the distance, the faint blue of the sea flickers, though few peasants have the time to go there. Life is bound to the soil, to the rhythm of the seasons and the demands of the land. As he walks, the man passes other farmers heading to their plots, nodding quietly in greeting. There's no rush, no clamor, just the soft cadence of sandals against the earth, a shared silence between those who know that the work never truly ends, only pauses until the next sunrise. Meanwhile, back at the cottage, the mother tends to her daily tasks. She gathers water from a nearby well, her clay jug heavy against her hip. She hums softly as she walks, a melody her mother once sang to her, one passed down through generations. When she returns, she grinds grain into flour using a stone quern, her hands moving in steady circles. Each movement is slow, deliberate, meditative. The baby stirs in a woven basket nearby, lulled by the rhythm of her motion. The older children chase a chicken outside, their laughter echoing softly between the houses. Life here is contained within small rituals: water drawn, bread baked, tools mended. It's a life without luxury, yet rich in its own quiet way. The richness of purpose, of belonging to something ancient and unchanging. As the morning deepens, the sun rises higher, spilling gold across the land. The farmer wipes sweat from his brow, though the day is still young. His ox pulls the plow slowly through the soil, leaving dark furrows behind. The scent of freshly turned earth fills the air. In the distance, another man sings a low tune, not for company, but to keep rhythm with the work. The song carries over the fields, blending with the wind and the hum of life. It's a song of endurance, of hope, of things that grow even when times are hard. For the peasants of ancient Greece, survival isn't guaranteed, But each day lived, each seed planted, is an act of faith. Faith in the land, faith in the gods, and faith that tomorrow's dawn will come, just as this one has. As the morning passes and the light grows warmer, the pace begins to slow. The man leans on his plow, looking toward the horizon. The sea glimmers faintly in the distance, unreachable but beautiful. He can smell the faint sweetness of figs ripening nearby, the promise of food for later. He wipes his hands on his tunic, takes a slow breath, and for a moment, he simply stands still, letting the sunlight soak into his skin. All around him, the land hums with quiet life. Bees in the blossoms, lizards darting across the stones, the whisper of olive leaves moving in the wind. This is his world, small, worn, and sacred. Soon, he'll return home for a brief rest, share a meal with his family, and prepare for the long day ahead. But for now, he pauses, a single man in an endless landscape, under a sky that has washed over countless mornings before this one, and will watch over countless more. The morning has settled fully now over the Greek countryside. The golden light softens the edges of everything. The stones of the cottages, the leaves of the olive trees, even the worn paths that wind through the village. A low hum of life drifts on the air. The rhythmic grinding of grain, the splash of water in clay jars, the bleating of goats from nearby pens. It's a soundscape older than memory, one that carries both peace and fatigue. For the peasants of ancient Greece, mornings are not moments of leisure, but of movement and duty. Yet even in their quiet work, there's something deeply human, a rhythm that mirrors the pulse of the earth itself. Life here is not about chasing comfort or wealth. It's about balance between work and rest, hunger and harvest, effort and gratitude. In one small courtyard, a woman kneels beside a flat stone table, pressing dough into small, rough loaves. Her hands move with care, her fingers dusted with flour that catches the sunlight like pale dust. The bread she bakes isn't soft or sweet. It's coarse and dense, made from barley rather than wheat, the grain of the poor. When it's ready, she places the flat loaves on a slab near the fire, letting the heat harden their crusts. The scent that fills the air is earthy, comforting, and faintly bitter. Beside her, a clay jar of olive oil glows a deep green in the light, thick and fragrant, pressed from the family's own small grove. It is precious, more valuable than gold in its way, used sparingly to flavor food and honor the gods. With bread and oil, life can continue. Without them, the day would be long and empty. Across the narrow lane, another family begins their morning chores. A young boy carries a bucket of water from the village well, each step careful on the uneven stones. His mother tends a small patch of herbs, thyme, mint, and sage, trimming them gently with a bronze knife. The father repairs a wooden yoke for their ox, humming under his breath. It's a humble scene, but one woven with a deep sense of purpose. Every task has its place, every movement its meaning. Even the smallest act, sweeping dust from the doorway, folding a worn cloth, mending a crack in a jar, feels like part of something sacred. The villagers don't speak of happiness as we know it. Their joy lives quietly in the feeling of a full belly, a safe home, and a day without misfortune. From time to time, a traveler or merchant passes through, bringing whispers of distant places, of Athens, where marble temples shine in the sun, of Corinth, rich with trade and luxury. But those stories feel like myths here. For the peasants, the city is another world, far away, unreachable, and not meant for them. Their world is smaller, but it's real. The scent of crushed olives underfoot, the hum of bees in the fig trees, the sound of a pot bubbling gently over a hearth. They live with what they have, make do with what the land gives, and thank the gods for what remains. When life is hard, they find comfort in ritual, in lighting a small candle before a household shrine, or in murmuring a prayer to Demeter, goddess of the harvest. In those quiet acts of faith, they find strength to face another day. By late morning, the village grows warmer. The children's laughter fades as chores take over. The men are already far out in the fields, their figures small against the bright horizon. Women gather together near a communal oven built of clay and stone, where several families share the heat to bake their loaves. The smell of bread mingles with the sharp, fruity scent of olive oil and smoke. They talk in low voices about the weather, about their animals, about small things that matter deeply in their world. There's a comfort in this simplicity, in the repetition of familiar days. Each sunrise brings the same work, but also the same security. They know what to expect. In a life ruled by the seasons, predictability is a kind of blessing. Not far away, an elderly man sits beneath the shade of an olive tree. His back is bent, his hair white, his hands resting on a carved wooden staff. He no longer works the fields. His sons do that now, but he watches with quiet pride. The tree he sits beneath is older than he is, its roots deep in the earth, its branches spreading wide. He remembers planting one like it in his youth, a sapling that's now strong and fruitful. For him, the olive tree is more than a source of food. It's a symbol of life's endurance. He closes his eyes and listens, the wind whispering through the leaves, the distant call of a shepherd's flute, the steady hum of the village at work. Everything feels as it should. The world, though small, is complete. Back at the cottage, the mother sets aside her tools and sits in the doorway, a baby resting against her chest. The sunlight spills across the threshold, warming her bare feet. She hums softly, not a song, exactly, but something between a lullaby and a prayer. Her gaze drifts toward the hills, where her husband works. and she imagines his face beneath the sun, his hands steady on the plow. She thinks of the gods, of Zeus above, who commands the sky, and of Hestia, guardian of the hearth, whose flame burns quietly in every home. For a moment, she feels a gentle calm, the kind that only comes from accepting the world as it is. She knows hardship is part of life, as certain as the turning of the seasons. But so is peace, found in moments like this, when the air is warm, the child is quiet, and the day stretches open before her. As the sun climbs higher, the village begins to shimmer in the light. The sounds of work soften, a hush falls over the land. People pause to drink water, to rest in the shade, to breathe. The scent of freshly baked bread lingers in the air, mingling with the hum of bees and the faint clatter of tools. For now, the world is perfectly still, caught between effort and rest, between morning and noon. The peasants of ancient Greece live in that fragile balance every day, never certain of what tomorrow will bring, but always finding comfort in the familiar rhythm of today. And as you listen, as your breathing slows, you might feel that same rhythm settling over you, calm, steady, timeless, the quiet heartbeat of a world long gone, yet somehow still alive, whispering softly beneath the olive trees. The sun climbs slowly, inch by inch, across the endless blue of the sky. The air grows warmer, heavier, filled with the smell of dust, grain, and the faint sweetness of crushed herbs. Out in the open fields, the peasants of ancient Greece bend low to the earth, their hands tracing the same furrows their fathers once carved. The morning calm fades into quiet labor, the steady creak of wooden plows, the rhythmic swing of sickles cutting through stalks of barley, the shuffle of sandaled feet through soil baked by countless summers. It's a slow, deliberate world, one that moves with the patience of nature itself. The sweat on their skin glistens in the light, and though their work is endless, there's a strange peace in its repetition, an unspoken knowing that each motion, however small, sustains life. The land stretches outward in every direction, rolling hills patched with fields of golden grain and green olive groves, each separated by rough stone walls. In the distance, goats wander freely, their bells chiming faintly like distant wind chimes. The sound carries across the fields, blending with the sigh of the wind and the hum of insects rising with the heat. The peasants rarely stop to speak, for words are unnecessary here. They work with their bodies, not their tongues. Yet in the silence, there is connection, the shared understanding of those who labor under the same sun, who face the same hardships, who dream the same small dreams. Occasionally, one lifts his head to squint toward the horizon, where a shimmer of blue marks the unseen sea. But then the moment passes, and the plow moves on, tracing another line in the soil. The tools they use are simple, worn wood, chipped bronze, rope, and leather. But each carries its own story, passed from hand to hand, season to season. A plow might have belonged to a grandfather, its handle smoothed by decades of work. A sickle might have been repaired so many times it no longer gleams, yet it still cuts with the same steady rhythm. These tools are not possessions, they're companions. To the peasants, they are extensions of their will, the bridge between their effort and the earth's response. The soil gives back what it's offered, no more, no less. Each harvest is both a reward and a reminder that nothing in life comes freely, and every grain of wheat carries the weight of countless hours beneath the sun. By midday, the heat becomes almost tangible. The air shimmers above the ground, and the smell of the fields grows stronger, a mix of warm earth, dry straw, and the faint bitterness of olives ripening in the distance. The men wipe their foreheads with rough cloths, their skin browned by sun and time. The oxen slow their pace, snorting softly, their flanks glistening with sweat. For a moment, everything feels suspended, the hum of the insects louder than thought itself. It's in this silence that one of the farmers pauses, standing straight, stretching his aching back. He looks upward, shielding his eyes from the blinding light, and for just a breath, he feels something like awe. The same sun that burns his skin once shone upon heroes and kings, upon poets and gods. Yet it touches him too, a simple man, unknown, unrecorded, and in that shared warmth, he feels the faintest sense of belonging to eternity. When the heat grows too heavy, the workers retreat to the shade. Beneath a cluster of olive trees, they rest on the ground, their tools laid aside. The shade feels cool and sacred, the leaves above rustling softly in the breeze. Someone passes around a clay jug of water, its surface beaded with condensation. They drink in turns, each sip slow and grateful. From a small basket, one man shares pieces of hard bread and olives, their sharp saltiness cutting through the taste of dust. There's little talk, only the quiet sounds of chewing, the soft sigh of contentment, the deep relief of stillness. The land seems to breathe with them, each exhale carrying away the weight of labor, if only for a while. This pause, this rest beneath the trees, is as vital as the work itself. Without it, even the strongest spirit would break beneath the sun. From where they sit, the fields stretch out like a living painting. Every shade of brown and green blends into the haze of noon. A flock of white birds rises suddenly from the ground, startled by something unseen, their wings flashing in the light before they vanish toward the horizon. The peasants watch them for a moment, their minds drifting. Some think of home, of the warm smell of bread waiting in the hearth. Others think of their ancestors, who once worked this same soil and whose bones now rest beneath it. Time feels different here, not linear, but circular, like the turning of the seasons or the motion of the stars. Each day mirrors the last, and yet, within that sameness, there's comfort. There's a quiet understanding that life's purpose isn't in the grand or the new, but in the simple act of continuing, of enduring, of giving back to the earth that gave them life. As the day moves slowly onward, they return to their work. The air hums again with movement, the swing of sickles, the creak of harnesses, the steady rhythm of hands at labor. Their bodies move almost without thought, guided by instinct and habit. They've done this for so long that the motion itself feels like a language, one spoken in gestures, in the flex of muscles, in the steady breath drawn between effort and release. The sun begins to tilt toward the west, casting long shadows across the fields. The light softens, turning golden, wrapping the land in a gentle glow. Tired but content, the peasants continue until the last rows are tended, until the soil lies smooth and ready. And then, slowly, they begin to gather their tools, their steps heavy but steady as they turn homeward. The journey back is slow. The world glows with evening's warmth, not bright, but soft, like amber poured over the land. The air cools gently, carrying the faint scent of wild herbs crushed beneath their feet. In the distance, smoke curls upward from the village hearths, signaling the return of families to rest and meal. The oxen move quietly, their bells chiming with each slow step. The farmers say little, but there's peace in their silence. The hardest part of the day has passed. The fields will rest tonight, and so will they. Above, the sky begins to shift toward dusk, a pale, infinite blue fading into gold. Soon, stars will appear, and the rhythm of another ancient day will end. As you breathe now, listening to the stillness of this moment, you can almost feel the same peace they do. A calm born not from luxury or ease, but from knowing you've given all that was needed, and that tomorrow will come again, steady as the turning of the sun. The sun climbs higher, gilding the fields of ancient Greece with a quiet, golden insistence. Its warmth settles over the earth like a slow, gentle hand, pressing against the backs of those who toil. By this hour, the bustle of the morning, the rhythmic pounding of the mill, the clatter of hooves on dusty roads, the chatter of vendors in the marketplace, has begun to soften. Even the birds seem to pause in their songs, shifting to a languid hum, as if the air itself encourages rest. The olive trees, heavy with their silver-green leaves, offer shelter under their broad, twisting branches. Their shade is a sanctuary, a soft, whispered invitation to surrender to stillness. Here, under this quiet canopy, the world narrows to a simple, hushed moment, and one can almost feel the pulse of the earth slowing, matching the gentle rhythm of a deep, contented breath. The peasants, who spent the morning tending fields of wheat, barley, and olives, now move with measured ease toward the shade. carrying tools that weigh less when the body yearns for pause. Their shoulders, bronzed by the sun, bear the subtle sheen of effort, yet their steps carry a certain grace in their inevitable retreat to the olive groves. Children, their laughter now softened to sleepy murmurs, follow more slowly, balancing small bundles of figs or bread. Even the dogs, loyal companions of the fields, find comfort in the cool shadows, curling their warm bodies against the dappled light. It is a time when conversation becomes sparse, when words are exchanged with a quiet deliberation, as if the heat itself encourages silence, urging all to conserve strength, to let the midday lull take hold like a gentle, unbroken wave. As one settles beneath the olive branches, the senses awaken in subtler ways. The air carries the earthy aroma of the soil, mingled with the faint, sharp scent of leaves and ripening fruit. A soft breeze whispers through the branches, stirring the silver-green leaves to shimmer like liquid light. Occasionally, a small olive drops with a muted plop, joining the chorus of tiny sounds that seem amplified by the silence around. Eyes half closed, one can watch the play of shadow and light, the delicate dance of leaves that move without effort, without urgency. Time appears to stretch and yawn, expanding in this quietude, allowing each heartbeat, each inhalation to be noticed. In these moments, the body begins to soften, muscles releasing the tension of work, and the mind drifts lightly, unburdened by worry or task. Food, too, marks the rhythm of this noon rest. Simple meals of bread, cheese, olives, and fresh figs are laid upon cloths spread over the ground, and the act of eating becomes slow and deliberate. Each bite is savored not only for nourishment, but as a gesture of stillness, a way to honor the respite provided by the heat and shade. Water from clay jugs glints in the sunlight before being poured, a cool relief against the languor of the afternoon. Conversations, when they emerge, speak more of gentle curiosity than necessity. A remark about a neighbor's fig tree, a story repeated from yesterday, a question about the weather. Even the smallest exchanges carry the hum of ease, the rhythm of a world temporarily paused. It is a quiet, shared intimacy, woven from the collective acknowledgement that work can wait and that the body and soul require restoration. Sleep itself becomes an almost sacred possibility beneath the olive trees. Some lay directly on the earth, feeling the gentle warmth seep into their limbs, a slow grounding that both calms and revitalizes. Others lean against the trunks of gnarled trees, heads cushioned by bundles of cloth or folded garments, lulled by the soft rustle of leaves above. The world feels reduced to the essentials: sun, shade, the soft pulse of the body, and the occasional hum of a bee or distant call of a bird. Dreams and reality begin to mingle at the edges of awareness, and thoughts drift lazily like clouds across the wide, blue sky. In this quiet surrender, the ancient rhythm of rest becomes palpable, a living tradition that stretches back through generations, connecting each soul with the steady, enduring heartbeat of the land itself. The heat also brings reflection, a quiet meditation on the day's labors and the tasks yet to come. In the shade of the olive trees, one can sense the subtle cycles of the year, the ripening olives that will become oil for winter, the soil prepared for planting, the slow maturation of grain in the fields. Each detail registers more fully when the body and mind are allowed to slow. There is a patience inherent in this rest, an understanding that the sun will continue its arc and that tomorrow will bring another day of work. For now, though, there is no urgency, only the gentle rhythm of breath, the subtle sway of leaves, the occasional murmur of distant voices. Life in its simplest form, at once quiet and profoundly complete, unfolds under the cooling canopy of ancient trees. Even as rest deepens, there is a faint hum of life around the grove. Bees dip lazily among wildflowers growing at the grove's edges, their wings catching sunlight like tiny prisms. The occasional crow moves from tree to tree, calling with a measured cadence that punctuates the heavy, golden air. Each sound is neither urgent nor intrusive, but rather part of the larger, unhurried symphony of the noon hour. The groves themselves seem to breathe, exhaling warmth and shade in equal measure. In this way, the olive trees are not merely shelter but companions, guardians of tranquility, witnesses to the quiet persistence of daily life. Here, under their boughs, there is no rush, no expectation. Only the serene unfolding of the day as it stretches toward its eventual decline. As the sun begins its slow descent toward afternoon, the pause beneath the olive trees lingers in memory, a soft echo of ease that continues even when bodies rise again to resume labor. Shadows lengthen, and the golden light shifts, painting the world in warmer tones that hint at the approaching evening. Slowly, reluctantly, the peasants gather their tools, collect their food remnants, and prepare to return to their fields or village paths. But the rest taken under the noon sun is not lost. It endures within the muscles, within the quiet mind, within the rhythm of the body and the unspoken understanding of the land. The grove's hush leaves a mark on the soul, a reminder that even amidst toil, there is space for gentle pause, for calm reflection, for the unhurried passage of time. And in that quiet, beneath the silver-green leaves of the olive trees, the ancient world continues its timeless dance between work and rest, heat and shade, labor and serenity. The sun has fully descended beyond the horizon, leaving the sky a soft gradient of purples and deepening blues. The warmth of the day slowly ebbs into a gentle, lingering coolness, and the village takes on a hushed, expectant quality. Roofs and walls, bathed in the last golden traces of light, now cast long, soft shadows across the cobblestones and fields. Smoke rises lazily from extinguished hearths, carrying the faint scent of evening meals and warm clay. The hum of daytime life, voices, footsteps, the clatter of tools, has dwindled to a near silence, replaced by the subtle sounds of the night. Somewhere, a dog stirs in its slumber, the river murmurs in the distance, and a soft breeze moves through olive groves, rustling leaves as if whispering a lullaby. The world itself seems to pause, inhaling in quiet anticipation of rest. Families settle in their homes, embracing the familiar rhythms of evening routines. The soft glow of a dying hearth illuminates faces relaxed and contemplative. Children, their eyes heavy with the fatigue of play and learning, curl beneath simple blankets or mats, the steady presence of parents and elders providing comfort. Stories of gods, ancestors, and heroes from earlier in the evening linger in their minds, dissolving into imagination as consciousness begins to drift. The air feels charged with a quiet magic, a mixture of earthy scents, residual warmth, and the faint hum of the nocturnal world beyond the walls. Even the smallest tasks, like extinguishing embers or setting out water for morning, are carried out with a meditative slowness, as if the very night encourages patience and reverence for the cycle of life. Outside, the first stars pierce the deepening sky, twinkling softly above the olive groves and fields. The crescent moon casts a pale, protective light over the village, painting roofs, trees, and paths with gentle silver. Night birds call intermittently, their voices distant yet melodious, blending seamlessly with the soft rustle of leaves and the occasional croak of a frog near the riverbank. The air carries a subtle chill, a welcome relief from the sun's midday heat, and even the animals of the fields and groves adjust to the quiet rhythm, curling up for their nocturnal rest. Time seems suspended, each moment stretching to encompass the stillness of the world, the soft weight of the evening, and the slow cadence of breath, heartbeat, and quiet thought. In the quiet homes, the final tasks of the day are completed with calm deliberation. Clay vessels are set aside, the last pieces of bread or cheese consumed, and small prayers or gestures of gratitude offered to gods or spirits watching unseen. There is a pervasive sense of completion, a contented acknowledgement of the day's labors, and the gentle expectation of tomorrow. Children, lulled by the warmth of family and the comforting cadence of storytelling, allow sleep to take hold naturally. Adults, too, find themselves releasing the tension of the day, sinking into the soft rhythm of the evening, feeling the pulse of the earth beneath them, and sensing the timeless continuity that connects them to those who have rested in this same land for countless generations. Sleep becomes a gentle, shared experience that unites all living beings in the village. Infants nestle into the warmth of their mother's arms. Older children sink into the comfort of blankets on the earthen floors, and elders lean against walls or mats, allowing the day's weight to dissolve. Dreams begin to stir, subtle at first, carrying fragments of stories heard earlier, whispers of the day's events, or imagined adventures under the night sky. The mind drifts without effort, floating between memory and fantasy, guided by the soft rhythm of breath, the murmur of nocturnal life, and the flickering shadows cast by the moonlight. Even those awake for a final moment of reflection are touched by the profound serenity of nightfall, sensing the continuity of life and the gentle promise of rest. Beyond the walls of the village, the landscape settles into its own nocturnal routine. Olive groves sway softly in the night breeze. The fields are quiet, and the distant hills hold the darkness like a protective shroud. Animals rest in hidden burrows or beneath the protective shade of trees. The nocturnal insects begin their delicate symphony, and the river murmurs its ceaseless song under the moon's gentle gaze. There is an overarching sense of harmony, a recognition that the world itself pauses in reverent patience, allowing each creature its deserved repose. The connection between human and natural rhythm deepens, a subtle, unspoken understanding that life is sustained as much by rest as by action, and that dreams, even fleeting and fragile, carry their own quiet significance. The stars grow brighter, more numerous, revealing constellations that have guided generations long past. Families who once listened to stories now dream beneath the same sky, their imaginations wandering through the adventures and lessons woven into earlier tales. Perhaps they dream of heroes crossing distant lands, of gods walking among mortals, or of the simple joys of harvest, feasts, and warm hearths. In these dreams, the wisdom of the past and the vitality of the present intermingle, forming a tapestry of memory, imagination, and hope. The village sleeps, and in its sleep, life continues, soft, enduring, and unhurried, each soul attuned to the eternal rhythm of night and the slow promise of morning. As the night deepens, the world rests in a profound silence, broken only by the occasional sigh of wind, the distant call of a night bird, or the gentle murmur of the river. In the soft darkness, the village seems suspended in time, a snapshot of human life harmonized with nature, labor, and the ancient, enduring cycle of day and night. Sleep becomes not just a necessity but a sacred passage, a bridge between the waking day and the renewal of tomorrow. Dreams flow freely beneath the stars, carrying whispers of stories, lessons, and the quiet pulse of the land. And in this infinite stillness, the world feels safe, complete, and eternally held, as each soul, human, animal, and tree alike, surrenders to the gentle, unbroken embrace of night. The first hints of light touch the horizon, delicate and unassuming, spilling pale gold across the sleeping village. Night retreats slowly, leaving behind the coolness of darkness as it yields to morning. The sky is soft and expansive, painted in muted shades that promise warmth and movement, yet still hold the tranquility of dawn. Smoke from a few quietly rekindled hearths drifts lazily upward, carrying the faint scent of embers from the night before. The village stirs with gentle ease. A rooster crows in the distance, a dog stretches, and the wind moves softly through olive groves, brushing silver-green leaves in a subtle greeting. Time flows quietly here, unhurried, as if the land itself is breathing in a calm, deliberate rhythm, preparing the world for the day ahead. Families awaken slowly, each person emerging from sleep as if drawn by the soft insistence of light and air. Children blink against the new brightness, yawning and stretching before gathering close to the hearth to watch embers rekindled for morning warmth. Parents and elders rise with steady, familiar movements, tending small chores and preparing simple meals. There is a profound sense of continuity here, a quiet understanding that the tasks, rituals, and rhythms of yesterday will carry forward, shaping today with gentle consistency. Even the smallest gestures, the pouring of water, the grinding of grains, the lighting of a flame, hold weight, grounding the morning in purpose without urgency. The world awakens in harmony, each action a soft note in the symphony of life, connecting night to day in seamless progression. The fields beyond the village are touched by the soft glow of dawn, the stalks of grain glistening with dew. Olive trees shimmer gently, their leaves stirring in the morning breeze, catching light that dances in quiet patterns across the earth. Farmers prepare to return to their work, moving with deliberate slowness, as if honoring the calm of the morning. Even as labor resumes, there is a reflective quality to these first steps of the day, a moment of awareness that the cycles of life are ongoing and unbroken. The work of sowing, tending, and harvesting is continuous, each generation carrying forward the knowledge and skill of those who came before. In this, there is both comfort and reverence. Life persists, nurtured by quiet diligence, by patience, and by respect for the natural rhythm of earth and sky. Morning meals unfold in soft, deliberate rituals, echoing the shared practices of countless generations. Bread is broken, olives and cheese portioned, and water poured into simple clay vessels. Conversation is light, gentle, and reflective, filled with remarks about the changing seasons, the promise of harvests, and the well-being of family and neighbors. Even in these small moments, the continuity of life is evident. The passing of knowledge, the reaffirmation of relationships, the nurturing of the body and spirit alike. The rhythm of preparation, eating, and quiet exchange establishes the day's foundation, providing nourishment not only for the body, but for the enduring sense of belonging, connection, and purpose that defines village life. In these simple actions, one feels the pulse of tradition flowing seamlessly into the present. The village children, now fully awake, carry the light of curiosity and energy into the day. Their laughter, soft but persistent, blends with the distant song of birds and the whisper of morning wind. Tasks are undertaken with measured diligence, yet always with an underlying sense of ease, a reflection of the natural rhythm instilled through years of guidance and observation. Parents observe quietly, offering instruction without rush, allowing the young to learn through experience while remaining under gentle watch. The interaction between generations forms a continuous loop of learning, nurturing, and growth. In this, life feels complete, self-sustaining, and tenderly balanced, each member of the community contributing to a living, breathing tapestry of existence. The gods and spirits of the land, once honored in quiet gestures at the hearth or in whispered prayers during evening, continue to hold presence in the morning. Tiny offerings, blessings, and acknowledgments are made with calm reverence, connecting each individual to the unseen forces that guide and protect. These acts are subtle, unobtrusive, yet meaningful. They remind all who dwell here of the continuity of existence, the enduring cycles that govern both human and natural life. The rhythm of faith and ritual flows naturally alongside labor and leisure, reflecting the seamless integration of the sacred and the everyday, a reminder that the past, present, and future are intricately intertwined in the life of the village. As the sun rises higher, the fields and groves come alive with gentle activity, a soft symphony of movement and sound. Olive leaves shimmer in the breeze, the river murmurs, and the birds engage in delicate calls that punctuate the calm of the morning. Villagers move among their surroundings with measured care, tending crops, gathering produce, and attending to animals. Life flows forward with quiet assurance, guided by the lessons of experience and the inherent order of nature. Each breath, each step, and each glance is infused with awareness, a recognition of the unbroken chain that binds human action to the rhythms of earth and sky. In this way, the morning becomes both beginning and continuation, a reaffirmation of existence in its simplest and most profound form. By mid-morning, the village is fully awake, yet retains the calm, steady heartbeat of its people. The continuity of life is evident in every gesture, in the hand passed to help gather olives, in the careful tending of animals, in the observant instruction offered to children learning their place in the world. Time, labor, and nature move together in a quiet harmony, creating a sense of completion and purpose. As the day unfolds, it carries within it the lessons of yesterday and the quiet hope for tomorrow, a seamless extension of all that has come before. And in this rhythm, one feels the gentle, enduring truth of life, that rest and work, night and day, story and action, are all part of a vast, unbroken cycle, eternal yet tender, continuous yet comforting. Even as the day grows brighter, the memory of night lingers softly. The dreams beneath the stars, the warmth of hearth and family, and the quiet wisdom of elders remain in the mind like faint, soothing music. The continuity of life is not merely practical. It is poetic, woven into the routines, beliefs, and quiet observations of those who live in harmony with their surroundings. And so, with each sunrise, the ancient world continues its eternal rhythm, carrying forward generations past and generations yet to come. Life endures in calm, measured motion, a soft, unbroken pulse beneath the sun, the olive trees, and the wide, ever-watching sky. A perfect, gentle conclusion to the day and a serene promise of tomorrow.